Welcome to the Pool Chasers podcast. I'm your host, Greg Villafania, joined by my co-host, Justin the Bearded Plumber Bowie.
Yes, sir.
And we got Mike Wren. What's up, Mike?
How's it going?
Very good.
Mike on the mic.
Mike on the mic. And today we've got a very special guest. We got Gordon Lai with us. He's actually the photographer that did Justin's photo shoot for JMax, Pool Pro magazine. What was that? The May-June 2022 issue?
Swimsuit calendar. I think so. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Has it been a year?
Dude, it's been,
Dang.
Yeah.
I feel like we just did that a couple months ago.
Right.
Thanks for making me look good, by the way.
Hey,
Dude, those photos
I didn't even
were,
have to try.
dude, those photos were fire, dude. They were so
Yeah.
good. You did incredible.
Yeah.
But thank you for being here, brother.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. Love the new spot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm excited. I gotta swing by, check it out, and hopefully steal some ideas from my studio.
Well, we stole
Yeah, I
your
was
wall
gonna
guy.
say.
I heard. Yeah. Which wall was that? Outside?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I forgot to check it out.
The Academy room. Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, and Chris, Accent Wall Chris, I always forget his
Accent
tag
Wall
on-
Designs, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Dude, he's so cool.
Yeah,
It's crazy to
really
think
cool
that that's even a side hustle
Yeah,
for
that's
him.
his part-time job too.
He's solid.
Yeah.
Very legit. So we're drinking beers. I've never had this one before. We usually we'll review a beer
Okay.
on the episode or on the podcast. And today I have Harlan Brewing India Pale Whale. This is actually the one I think Dan had when he was on the podcast with Creative Environments.
Oh, the one
And-
that you gave him, because he brought Shop Beer Co.
That's right. I'll give this a 6.3. What you got?
Today I'm drinking the Charlotte Pilsner. I think it's my second time around.
I don't think you can give an accurate score because I see these cough drops next to you.
Yeah.
It's going to throw off your taste.
It's been windy, man. I've got a little allergy situation right now.
Okay.
Let me give it an allergy score. Okay.
Okay.
7-1.
7-1.
Final
I know
answer.
the cough drops have something to do with that.
Final answer.
What you got, Mike?
I have the same, the Charlotte Pilsner, and I'm probably gonna go like 6-7.
Oh,
It's it's solid. It lacks like a punch or something like that.
Tastes like piss.
No,
I heard
No,
when you
just
choose a number 1 through 10, people say usually don't choose 7 because that's like the average. So you either have to go 6 or go 8.
that makes sense.
Man, I didn't even think about that. If it's 5 or lower, man, that must taste like shit. But nobody ever gives it that score.
What makes a beer a 9+? What are you looking for in a beer?
Never seen one. Yeah, it's a
I had a
unicorn.
really good one, but it didn't go 9s.
Hmm.
You know, I don't know. I feel like you really can't dip too high in the 9s because if you're planning on running it for a long time, you got to leave room for finding that better beer.
Okay.
But-
I like it.
Do you drink?
I'll drink old fashions. I can't drink beer. I have a weird allergic to reaction to beer. I have that Asian glow when I drink alcohol, so I have to take a antihistamine pill before I drink.
What?
It's a whole fucking process, but I'll take that. It's Pepsid AC, I don't even know what it is really, but I'll take an acid reducer. I have to take 2 pills an hour before I drink, and then I don't turn red.
Damn, that's a process.
But beer triggers it a lot more, but I could drink wine. I'll drink whiskey, all that, bourbon.
Doesn't mess with you?
Mm.
Nice.
But beer, for some reason. I
Yeast.
don't know why. Yeah,
It's the yeast.
probably something in that.
Well, shit, let's jump into this. Why don't you give the listeners a little overview of, who you are and what you do exactly?
Yeah, so my name is Gordon Lee. I own a creative agency out here in North Scottsdale. I've been doing it for almost 7 years now, coming in May. Yeah, 7 years now. And what we do over at my agency is we specialize in content creation for small businesses locally as well as e-commerce brands worldwide. So how I got into that was kind of going back a few years. I went to college for dietetics, nutrition at University of Arizona. And then my last year of college, I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do any of this. This is not my passion. I need to find something else I want to do out of college. So I was very invested in the health and wellness industry and activewear industry. So I'm like, I want to start my own activewear brand. I've seen a couple guys, do it out of their house and they kind of popped off. I'm like, I'm 21 out of college. Might as well shoot my shot and see where it goes. If it doesn't go well, I'll go get a full-time job elsewhere. And then doing that for about a year and a half, it was tough. Learned a lot through it, but I had no business experience, no business background, just learned everything on YouTube and just asking questions to my, business owner friends. But I decided to make a shift since I did pick up content creation during that journey because I didn't have the budget to invest in other photographers, videographers, marketing and all that. So I'm like, I'm gonna go buy my own camera and figure this shit out. And I just kind of fell in love with it ever since. So May 2017, I decided to pivot from, e-commerce, activewear into starting my own video production company. And, 7 years later, this is where we are.
Is Creative Lifting Club your brand?
So this is a new brand I just started this past couple weeks. I'm hoping to launch by the end of the month.
Nice.
So it's kind of coming full circle, which is kind of cool because I started in the activewear, fitness apparel, didn't know how to run it, but now with, a couple years of experience in video marketing and running ads and building a brand and building a tribe in the creative community, I decided to come out with something that I love, another passion project. And, if it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, then at least I tried.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
So with that clothing business, not even getting into photography and video and advertising yet, like what are some of the best lessons that you learned in that first company?
I feel like a lot of people try to get shortcuts and ask other people like, oh, where'd you source your shirts from? Or where'd you get this? Where'd you get that? And tries to get the quick answer rather than doing the homework themselves and going through the failures and through the trials and all that. And that's where you learn the most. Without that, it's hard to get the success or, feel like you're successful if everybody's giving you that cheat sheet. Mm-hmm. So what I try to do when other people come to me, especially in the video world as well, when they want that shortcut, I try to guide them in the right way, but make them do it themselves and kind of, guide them that direction, but not give them the full answer, because that's how you kind of, learn the most. And the faster you fail, the quicker you learn is one quote that really stood out to me that someone said to me.
Yeah. So you're like, order these shirts from this guy. And then when they show up, like, see, they suck.
Right.
Don't order from that guy. Order from that guy.
So my next question was, where do you source your shirts? So I'm going to have to move on to the next one. Yeah. So I was going to wait for this question, but that's really interesting that you say that, because now you make so much content where you're sharing so much about yourself and your business. And it's like you're sharing stuff about kind of horror stories on the client side and just different things. Like, why do you do that? I mean, it's what got my attention.
For sure.
To be honest, that I've used you on projects, but I'm just curious, like what was behind all that?
I feel like there's so much information that's not shared, either because you're scared of not getting clients or you're scared of other people stealing your clients. I feel like giving away as much free value as possible, you can only win, whether it's helping someone else grow their business or you build yourself as an authority in your industry. I personally don't mind. I think there's enough to go around for everybody to eat. Similar to your industry, I feel like, you're probably homies with people in the pool space, plumbing space, and you guys probably share business. That doesn't mean that we can't all, work together and work hard together. But I feel like in the creative community in general, I feel like a lot of people are scared to give out information and watch other people succeed, or they want to see them succeed, but just not more than they do. I think I saw someone make a post about that too, and I thought that kind of stood out to me.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel?
I feel like I protect like some of the stuff that's very close to me, but yeah, overall it does feel good. But I read a quote from not a quote. It wasn't a quote. It was a post from a guy, and he was like, a lot of people trade internet fame for like the years of stuff that they've learned, and it kind of made me like check myself, like, all right, like don't give away too much. You know what I mean? But I like it too, just like you said. I think there's plenty of food out there everybody can eat, and I think as long as like you hold like the most private stuff, man, I think it's all positive.
Yeah, for sure.
I think just being honest. I hate when you help people and they take your ideas and you want that, but they never give you credit for it. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced that, but it's like even when it's one-on-one, you got to dinner or something. It's like, man, things are so good since I did this. Like, yep.
A thank you would be nice.
Is there anything else you want to talk about? Like a fucking thank you?
You want to get the fucking bill this time?
Yeah, exactly. Still broke? What kind of success are you having?
And how did all three of you guys get connected?
Through the pool industry. I met Justin a long time ago. He was working, doing subcontracting for my company, and just built a relationship from there. And then when the company I was working for was dissolving, got an opportunity with him, and through Justin met Greg.
That's awesome.
Yep. Cool. Go way back, me and Mike.
How many years back?
8, 9.
I was gonna say 9. Yeah.
Nice.
Long time, man.
Yeah.
Since all the pre-social media, that's for sure.
Right.
So I'm gonna go back a little bit because I don't know if I heard you say it, but you didn't get into photography and videography and all that stuff until like after college, right?
Yeah.
Like what? I mean, did you dabble in it a little bit? Like how?
I had no creative background growing up, to be honest. I don't have that story where, I've had a camera since I was 2 years old and watched my dad grow up using, a film camera. I don't have that story. I just kind of grew into it and kind of fell into that route because, after college, I still wasn't in the creative industry. I started that activewear company, like I mentioned, but social media was getting hot at the time and trying to keep up with the trends and keeping up to date with what's hot in order to scale and grow my business. I think was very important. So making sure my content was on point and the visual especially, so video and photo had to be on point. Then that's where I kind of fell into learning how to use a camera, watching YouTube videos and staying up, watching it all. And I loved it. I feel like spending those countless hours all night long watching these videos and not thinking anything about it, I'm like, all right, I'm invested in this. I want to see what I could do with it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Self-taught, huh? Just rock.
I feel like that's the best way to go. I feel like, especially nowadays, going to film school, unless you're going to LA and trying to be on set for like a Hollywood film, a lot of people nowadays are self-taught, and that's where they're kind of shaking up the creative industry for all the old school guys who aren't keeping up with the trends and keeping up with, social media, meta, and running ads and all that. They know how to tell a story maybe, and maybe create this cool cinematic video. But if I'm creating a video ad to capture attention for someone to sell a product, those are two different worlds. So I think filmmaking and video marketing are two separate beasts. And I personally specialize in video marketing, but I don't have a great filmmaking background. And I'm fine saying that. I wouldn't know how to use a cinema camera if you put one in front of me, but I know how to create a video that would convert on Facebook, on Instagram, and all that.
It's crazy how things change because I'm sure even like 5-10 years ago, people were trying to make like a lot of sort of these about me videos, especially for companies and brands. And now it's like people are probably paying you good money just to make like 15, 20-second TikToks and reels and things like that. And it's funny in the beginning when that stuff comes out, it's like, you don't think that that's like a thing. Like it's designed for you to shoot it on your phone or whatever. But now I'm sure you do get hit up on that stuff, right? Where it's like, hey, I want a package deal where I want a full length video and then I want like all these, cut up
For sure.
videos.
So knowing the purpose of each video is crucial as well in order to solve the problem your client has, because one person might need a brand identity video for the website. Another person might just need user-generated content to run in the middle of their funnel for their company. So having a good understanding of what each video does in their funnel is very crucial in order to create this perfect package to pitch to them and to sell to them to ultimately be the solution to what problems they have in their business.
Yeah, I mean, what are some things that brands, and when I say brands, like any company, and we're talking to the pool industry folk right now, like what should they be thinking about prior to contacting somebody like you? It's like we do want some like badass advertisement videos where it's going to be on the homepage of our website, and then we can do some other things that we can share on social media.
For sure.
But like, what are like some very specific tactical things that people should be making note of?
Yeah, great question. I feel like for most businesses and, similar to like a pool industry or, all of that, it's very old school where you rely on referrals, word of mouth marketing, not so much social media because you don't really utilize it maybe a couple years back. And now transitioning to how you can utilize it properly, I would say running a conversion campaign or a lead campaign to generate more traffic via video ad. Let's say I were to create this cool video for a pool company that's local. I would run a lead campaign in order to capture leads via cold traffic that you could pay for that traffic. So if I were to sit back and not do that, I'm relying on everybody else to spread the word, versus if I were to put in $5,000 a month towards Facebook ads, I could capture X amount of leads and ultimately close X amount of those leads and projects. And one of those projects, if I were to close, let's say just one project, that would pay for the ad itself and some. So think about it in that perspective. If I put in 5K in ads and I get 30K back, obviously that's worth it. Now you scale from there. You put 10K in, 20K in a month, and you get 100K back and lock in maybe 10 projects. So not thinking about it too in depth, but just, numbers wise, it makes sense. Like for example, for myself, I just started a video ad campaign or a conversion campaign for my own creative agency. And I spent, I think, $1,000 this month, but I was able to secure like over $10,000 worth of projects. So the ROI of that is definitely worth it.
This episode is brought to you by Lion Financial. Offer your customers the industry's best financing options and sell more pools. Lion Financial's low rates and long terms give your clients more buying power, making a pool affordable, one low monthly payment at a time. They offer unsecured loans with rates as low as 4.99% on approved credit, terms up to 30 years, options for credit scores 625 and up, and no 6% consulting fees like other finance sources charge your customers. Lion Financial pays builders directly, ensuring a payment on time and in full. Call 877-754-5966 or visit www.lionfinancial.net today. And now back to our episode.
Yeah. Well, listeners, you just got, some extra content or some
extra juice.
extra because what I should have said was the creative for the advertisement, not like the technical
Gotcha.
Google ads, but like we're a plumbing company, right? And we're doing luxury pool plumbing. Like what should you be thinking about in terms of, thinking about scenes that you want to see? Like what should you be thinking about in order to get that video put together? Because I know you have this very in-depth form that you need people to fill out, and it's asking, all these questions in order to put this video together or to help you understand what it is they're trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there a fear you can get to a point where you oversaturate on the advertising? I know, like for me, like I'll be watching YouTube and I'll get the same ad every time, and I get to the point where it's like I would never use that product.
Yeah. So
Did you say bra?
Product.
Oh, product.
Or bra.
he said, bro.
Might be a bra.
So it takes, 7 touch points for someone to see your face in order for them to, for you to make a sale. So it's called frequency on the ad platform. So that's the number of times people see your ad. So the more you run like a retargeting ad, I retarget people who come across my social profiles. I can retarget people who come across my website in the last 30 days. And I run that same ad and for them to see me multiple times. And maybe by the 5th time they'll reach out, but they won't the 1st or 2nd time. But answering your question, if the creative itself sucks, like the video sucks and you actually didn't like it, then that's when you start testing new videos. So people are testing like 5 to 10 plus different creatives every single week in order to see which one's successful and which one isn't. For example, if I were to create a campaign for a pool company and I created one video and it didn't work, then that was a waste of money. But creating multiple different variations in order to test to see which one will work and kind of split test that, then that's where it's valuable. If I were to create 10 different variations of a video and one of them hits, then that's perfect. So
what is it like that you change? Like what do you tweak and why does something work and something not? Like for example, like a pool company, like can you give me an example of like why something wouldn't work and then it would work?
So the number one thing to test is usually the hook, the first 3 seconds of a video. If you didn't capture my attention, then I'm not going to watch the video. Then that's a waste of a video and waste of the marketing budget you invested in that. But let's say it's a 30-second video recreated. I might create 5 different variations with 5 different hooks. So the first 3 seconds might look different. And usually people like to touch on a problem or a common issue that your ideal client has. So I don't know, for the pool company, does your pool look dated and you want to make it look modern? Or trying to figure out what your ideal client wants and understanding that in order to speak directly to them.
So you're trying to grab them in that first beginning. And
For sure. Or it could just be something like a cool transition. It could be going from a shitty pool into a super modern pool that you did, and then going to showing the process in like a 15-second video.
Sick.
So there's a couple different types of videos you can create. It could be a UGC video of a client testimonial. You could use that as a retargeting ad to show credibility and social proof, like, oh, Jimmy actually used your company. And now they click into your website, learn more, fill out the contact form, all that.
When you make content for somebody and you're doing a campaign for them, are you watching the metrics? Like when it goes out, are you keeping track of it to see if it's doing good or bad, or do you just hand it off, or how does that work?
Yeah, good question. So our creative agency specializes right now specifically in content creation. And in a perfect relationship, we work with brands who have a internal marketing team or a third-party marketing team, and we work mutually together.
So they're giving you feedback on what's happening.
Yep. Or sometimes they don't. And that's kind of hard to gauge how to do better the next time. But in a perfect world, you'd get those metrics to see which ones were winning ads, which ones aren't. All right, these are great. How can we improve them and make them better? These ones were shit. Let's not do those again.
Interesting.
So going back, I mean, in terms of like building a shot list, like what do you recommend in terms of like making note of what you want done? Because every brand is different. Everybody does something a little bit different. They do something special, and you're trying to create something distinct that's going to separate you from other people. But I mean, how do you, somebody that doesn't do this for a living, like how do they start building this shot list of, because they want to see a video, you know, even if they're not in that space, but that mirrors like what they do, you know, properly.
I guess it depends on the placement and where you're pushing this video. Like, for example, if you're pushing it on Facebook ads, Instagram ads, around that 15 to 45-second time frame is usually a healthy range. If you want a more branded video for your website, for someone to see what you're doing, that could be 90 seconds to like 2 minutes, a little bit longer to showcase, you know, maybe multiple different homes you've done, before and afters, some social proof of testimonials on camera, you on site actually doing the work and the team doing it, some sexy drone shots like you would do, all of that to showcase like, oh, damn, this looks legit. Is their team doing it? It looks cool from beginning to end, and they specialize in this style of pools, and this is exactly what I want.
Yeah. Can you give an example of maybe like a company you've recently worked with? Maybe they're a newer brand, but how did you kind of like help them through the process? Maybe they didn't have a lot of assets or a lot of videos, and it's like you work side by side with them to kind of, you know, start putting this, you know, brand together via video.
Okay, yeah, good question. There's a med spa in Tempe, and they've always wanted to get invested in video. Everybody wants to do video, but they never really knew like how to get started. If they could do it themselves, they usually don't have the time to do it themselves and rather hire it out. So they came to us, and we created a 2-minute brand promotional video. This was for their wellness center on their website. Additionally, we created a spa one for their spa center, so another 2-minute video. And within there, they kind of talk about their expert. It's a 2-minute video, so relatively quick in the grand scheme of things. But they talk about who they are, their background, what they specialize in, who they help, and what kind of services they offer. And then a call to action of how to get in touch with them if you guys are interested, how to book with them. So that's pretty much wrapping it up into 5 different bullet points on what to touch on for like a 90-second video.
Yeah, I love that. And is it kind of your job, or do you expect people to tell you what kind of like emotions that you want the viewer to feel? Because that's like a big part of it, right? Is like, this is how I want people to feel. I want them to watch this and feel relaxed, and like we're a, you know, friendly brand that, you know, they'll feel comfortable coming to our business or going online and scheduling or whatever it is.
It might not be like questions I necessarily ask, but like a feeling I get during the conversation, and I kind of get a feel for the branding. I might be doing some extra research on the side of their brand to see, you know, this is the vibe they're trying to get off. This is their ideal client. In order to attract them, we got to create something that would attract them. I wouldn't create something super grungy for a med spa, and vice versa. You know, like for your brand, I wouldn't create something too, you know, cheesy or lighthearted by any means, because that's not your brand. So kind of understanding the business owner, understanding what they offer, who they offer it to, and then I have a good gauge of how to create a video just by expertise from past projects as well.
Dude, I didn't even put this on here, but after you saying that, how important is music in a video? Like getting the right sounds?
I think it's subjective. I feel like 80% of the times when I slap on a music track out of my own creative taste, the clients love it, but 20% of the times it's just subjective and they don't like it, and I might like it. So it may vary from person to person. And I'm okay with making that change. You know how it is changing a music track to a video. Sometimes it's a hard change of getting the tempo right and redoing it all. But at the end of the day, you know, we're a service-based company. We're here to please our clients and get the job done right and for them to be happy. And whatever it takes in order to do so, we're happy to do it.
Yeah. I wonder, have you ever had somebody come to you with like a song first where it's like, I have a beat and then I'm going to tell you what I do? Do you think that would help at all? Like, does a song help you understand like what kind of style somebody has?
Yeah, similar to anything, you know, the more information you get, like for you, you know, building a pool, getting some inspirational photos will definitely help you before building the pool, or else you're just going to go in blind, create the pool, and it might be something they don't like. Giving me examples of different music tracks, different videos, different things they like, the more I could get out of them to understand the vision, the better. But sometimes you don't have that. Do you keep your social life pretty private, yeah, on social?
My private one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, every now and then Greg will throw up a post and like tag me in it with my personal, and I gotta like go through it. I'm like, oh fuck.
Have you found it pretty beneficial being active on social media for your business, or?
For sure, for business, yeah. It gives you that leg up because people already kind of consider you like that. You know, they don't have to like learn that you know what you're doing. They can see it on social media. We definitely get a ton of leads. It's helped too. We have two businesses, and it's helped my second business a lot because people that followed us on one
Not JMax?
It's called JMax too, but it's called JMax Mechanical.
Okay.
So we have JMax Plumbing, JMax Mechanical. JMax Plumbing just does pools. JMax Mechanical does houses and everything else.
Okay.
So, but plumbing still. But anyway, a lot of the customers, you know, they follow JMax Plumbing or they know us or they work with us, and then they kind of like it translates over. So like our social media on plumbing has helped a lot. Now, especially now, it's crazy. I mean, we get a lot. You know, probably 3 this week. I get, you know, DMs from people all over the world asking for, you know, questions and stuff. So I really like it.
How often do you guys hire people locally from seeing like some cool content on, say, Instagram?
I'd say probably sometimes if I've seen other close friends use them, and you know they've targeted some influencers that I follow, and after a couple touch points, I've seen them multiple times. I'm like, all right, I might hit them up and see how much they cost and what they're about.
Isn't it different because you are a marketer? Like you're probably
see
thinking
through
like
it.
different. Yeah.
Well, the quality has to be there as well. It has to
Yeah.
back it up, as well as a social presence. It can't just be a social presence and then their service is like a 1 star out of 5.
You're just contacting them and be like, no, I don't need detail, but I want to help you with your video.
Right?
Your video
videos
game is
suck.
weak. Yeah.
I do a lot though. I've reached out to a lot of people that I've seen on Instagram.
Dude, you are super good with that. You give people the benefit of the doubt and you like to like spread shit around and give people a chance. Now, how do you make people comfortable on photo shoots? Because I feel like on the other side, it can be a little bit uncomfortable. But when we went out to North Scottsdale and did the photo shoot for Pool Pro magazine, like I felt like you were super chill, very professional, and we got some like really cool photos. I mean, I feel like Justin will do whatever you tell him to do. He's really good with that kind of shit. But, you know, is there something that you do prior to kind of just make things a little bit more relaxing?
I feel like, my quality in content could be mediocre or similar to everybody else, but if I could build a relationship and rapport with that person, that's going to go a long ways, especially for that photo shoot in order to make them feel comfortable. So pretty much when I first interacted with them, just kind of getting a feel for the energy and trying to find a common denominator of where we could shoot shit and, how far I could go with some stuff or what we could talk about to keep the conversation going, or else it's just gonna be an awkward 60-minute shoot and I'm just standing there and they're uncomfortable and they look awkward and they just want to go home.
What's like the craziest thing somebody done like on a photo shoot? Like maybe just coming to the photo shoot and maybe, their hair's not done or something. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? It's game day. What are you doing?
Nothing too bad, to be honest. Nothing I could think of that stands out.
Have you had any crazy photo shoots? I'm sure you deal with like weather elements and stuff.
No, all my
everything's
shit's
usually perfect.
Yeah, I'm just perfect
My
over here.
shit's dialed
It's more
in.
so like afterwards, like post-production, after I send over a video and I love it and I think it's dope, they might have like 50 revisions, just round after round after round. And that's where things can get annoying. Especially when I think it looks good and they don't think it looks good. And that's where it gets subjective again. But obviously I got to make them happy. But at the same time, I got to set the bar like, you get X amount of revisions, anything over that, you got to let me know up front or else it's going to cost additional for those. But sometimes it's just hard to please someone who might not like how they look or might not like how the video is turning out. Or yeah, just stuff like that.
Yeah, I think you said something on one of your podcasts or videos where you're like, you send out all these proposals and you don't want them to accept 100% of the time. Like you want to price yourself, higher than your competitors if you're worthy of that. And I just thought that was like pretty cool because it's like if you're sending like a cheaper proposal than most and you're going to close like 100 of these bids, like you're just going to be overwhelmed. You're not even be able to keep up with the amount of work that's, and I know from a little bit of experience, like video is like, man, that is long, very difficult like work. I mean, just the importing stuff that you can't fucking control, like takes forever. But then there's like the element of figuring stuff out.
Yeah, pricing wise, I don't necessarily compare it to other competitors. Obviously, I could use that as data in order to make sure my stuff is competitive and nothing over the top or too under. But more so, out of every 10 proposals I send out, if all 10 accepts it, then my prices are just too low because everybody's accepting it. If 0 people are accepting it, then my prices are just way too high for the demand and what people or how people see the value in my service. But I try to go for, like out of every 10, around 5 or 6 I'll close. I think that's a good formula to kind of follow in order to sustain the level of quality we run at the business. But, for how I like to look at it is if I were to secure a client for, let's say, $4K a month, that pays, my studio rental. If I secure another client for another $4K, that pays my videographer. If I secured something else, I kind of see it like that. And then everything else is kind of more or less profit or goes back into the business. So I don't think about it too much when it comes to like expenses and whatnot, but I got to make sure everybody's getting paid out, making sure we're profitable at the end of the day, or else it's not really a sustainable business by any means. It's just like a expensive ass hobby.
How many guys you got working with you?
I got 2 full-time and like 4 or 5 contractors that are pretty much there half the week. Yeah. So yeah.
Editors or video guys or what are they?
Editors full-time. I have a project manager and then my videographers, photographers, they're all contracted out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are you doing much of the videography, photography?
I still have my hands in a lot, to be honest. And my goal was to be more hands-off, but I just haven't been. Or I still put my hands in projects I enjoy doing, or sometimes I'm there more as a creative director, or I'm just doing photos and someone else is doing video, just to be there to build rapport with the client and to network and just be there on set. Because I don't mind it. I still love it. If it was a chore or if I needed to invest my time elsewhere and to build something else, then that's when I need to sit back and see it and look at, I need to bring someone else on full time to take on the hours I'm currently doing. But over the past 7 years, I think letting go of things have always been tough, and I've been able to let go of a lot, but there's still a good handful of things that I still do in my business. 7 years in that I just haven't been able to let go.
Oh yeah.
How long was it, Justin, before you were able to kind of get out of the field? I mean, did you have a goal at some point of
It was
like,
tough.
did you have a goal? You know, I don't know, first or second year?
When I met Mike, I think it was at the point where like I had to get out or I was gonna explode. So I guess, you know, probably 4 years in or 3 years in, you know, I just had to bring somebody else on. You know, Mike came on as like my right-hand guy. And I still remember when Mike came on, I took my first vacation. It wasn't a vacation. I took an afternoon. I went to afternoon tea at the Phoenician. And I remember I turned my phone off. It was the first time I had turned my phone off in like years.
Shit.
It was crazy, man.
How weird did it feel?
So weird. So weird. But I remember, I don't know if you remember, but I was like, dude, that was like worth it.
Yeah, that was a nice win until the trip you had to drive back from California.
Oh, yeah. The first time I did leave town, Mike was at the helm. All hell broke loose. I had to turn around and come back. But
Everybody's running around naked at the shop. Or
yeah,
what?
fires.
Somebody rear-ended somebody. It was a whole bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Bad,
sucks.
bad.
But it's hard to find someone you trust to be a part of the business. And it's cool you found Mike to,
Yeah.
and you guys have known each other for 9 years plus and built that relationship, which is cool.
And
That's
I
hard
don't
to find.
and I don't know how you feel, but you know, I look at it too. Like nobody will do it the way you did it, so you have to expect like a certain amount of dilution, like in everything that you give away. You know, I mean, it's just natural. Like
Yeah.
Mike's not going to do it like I do it, and you have to like come to terms with that. So like, I don't know how you dealt with that, but that was something I had to work on.
For sure.
But even when Mike came on, though, were you 100% or were you done in the field?
I ended up doing like some back and forth, you know, like on special projects, kind of like you did, you know.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Or I assume how you did, but no, at that point it was pretty much just.
Yeah, that's probably pretty natural to kind of go back and forth until finally it's like, all right, I'm okay with the people just kind of doing everything full time.
Yeah.
Yeah, just trusting in someone else to do what you do, I think is hard to let go of. But then once they do it and, you know, you guide them in order to do it how you would want to, if not, they do it better. That's a perfect scenario.
Yeah.
But expecting someone to be like a unicorn and do everything exactly how you do it right off the bat, I feel like those expectations are going to get crushed. And that's how I thought things would go when I was bringing on my first couple guys. I'm like, this isn't how it's going to be. I'm going to need to guide them in the right direction for the next couple of months in order to get them from maybe a 6 out of 10 to like an 8 out of 10. And then they build from there and build their own creativity. And now they're, you know, maybe even better than I am at certain things, which is cool.
Do your guys go farm out clients on their own for the company, or are you the source of contact for all?
I am the source of it. So right now, I'm more hands off in working in the business, but I can work on the business in regards to the marketing and getting the lead generation and all that.
Yeah. So you don't have anybody that, like, you would never have a client that would come use your services, but you would never talk to them? Like, you know, somebody else brings them in, deals with them, client manages them, and then gets done.
As of right now, no. I do that specific interaction. Most of my stuff is automated from unless you were reach out to me on my contact form, a questionnaire gets triggered out. And then after they fill that out, a discovery call gets assigned, and that's when I start putting my manual time into it. So there's some stuff I could still automate, which is great. But there's just discovery call where I close a client, I personally do that still. And then drafting out the proposals and sending that out. I have that pretty much streamlined to take only a couple minutes. So trying to figure out where I could expedite time in my time spent in the business, I think is crucial if my time is still spent in the business.
Awesome. I asked that just because that was something that was new to me. You
Yeah.
know, and that was the toughest for sure.
So if you were to like leave your business or, you know, not be a part of it right now, could your business still run?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Well, for the most part, there would be some very small adjustments, but yeah, I mean, they say you either have a job or you own a business, right? And like the difference is like what happens when you leave. And yeah, we have all the controls in place. There's just very small things that I do. Like, for example, like I submit payroll every week, and you know, I would just have to assign that duty to somebody else. But yeah, definitely.
How many years did it take in order to get to that point?
I think it wasn't until probably this last year in the end of 2022 that it got to that point.
And how many years
12.
was
That was 12.
12,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
it? Crazy.
yeah.
When Justin goes out of town, Mike, do you feel like a difference in terms of like, do
think
people want to like do more? Because it's like, dude, if the boss is out of town, want to like show them that responsible enough to like make sure this shit happens.
Absolutely. It's like the expectation is like we can't have any fit. Like if we fail and he's here and that's one thing, but if we fail and he's not here and then a problem festers, or you don't want him to come back to that email and then just be like, I just relaxed for a week and then what's this like?
Well, it takes time probably in getting to know, like, even you. It's like you have to figure out when somebody goes out of town, like what is worth a phone call or an email, or what you should just try to figure out on your own. I mean, you personally, would you rather somebody figure something out on their own and, fail fast, or would you like them to hit you up?
I like the term fail fast. I mean, that's a tough question, man, because there's certain things.
That's why I served it up like that.
Thank you. I think there's certain things that, like, as a business owner, like, need your approval. Like, they say, like, answer questions at your pay grade, or, deal with problems at your pay grade. There's certain things that, I don't think I want guys making the answer for. So that's a tough one, man.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, depend on leadership, you know what I mean, for the guys to communicate with Mike or Joe or Chris or Tony. And then, if they don't have an answer for it, they'll decide whether they probably contact you or not.
Yeah.
Was it a hard relationship for you two to work together once you joined?
No, I believed in his leadership. I believed in his ability to do the job. It was my hardest thing was trying to meet his expectations, like internally, like just you never think you're doing a good enough job, or you just question everything, even things you're doing right. You're like, oh, maybe this isn't good enough, and it's hard because like in our industry and in the software, we call him the glue. He like catches everything. He's like a perfectionist, and it's hard to match up to that. Hard to put those shoes on. So it's
we cover therapy.
But there's like a lot of guys on the team that have been around for like a really long time, because I think in every business, a lot of it is like trust too, and consistency. Like over time, like, guys like Mike, he's a unicorn. It's very rare that you find somebody that, doesn't take time off and is just somebody that you can count on, because Justin, needs people like that, quite a few people where you can like actually count on them and not be like, dude, I don't know what the fuck is going to happen tomorrow. I'm sure there's elements of the day that you're like, I don't know what to expect, but it's got to be nice when you've got a handful of people that you're like, well, at least they'll be here, you know what I mean, to kind of weather this storm or whatever's going on.
Yeah.
Do you have a right-hand guy, or like a guy that like you could put in your place if you needed to?
That's a good question, because my buddy Scotty, he was my creative director, probably 2 years back. He was on for a year after he transitioned out of modeling, and he came on board, started as like a production assistant, and slowly grew into a creative director role. But now he's off doing his own thing, doing, building his brand, doing more of the influencer side, and doing some social strategy for other clients. So he's not part of Lee Visuals anymore. But I think if I had to and I needed someone to fill my spot, I think there's a way where we could merge, bring him on as a partner, and have him handle that for sure. I think he would crush it if he had a piece of the pie in Lee Visuals, which I wouldn't mind. I feel like starting out as a business owner, I feel like there was so much ego, and I think I was thinking like every dollar I made had to go in my own pocket, but that's where I just became burnt out. And to grow quick, you need a solid team. So that's where my mindset had to shift, in going from that scarcity mindset to a different one. I think was a big pivot that definitely benefited me, I guess, financially with the business, but just mentally as well.
What motivated you to start doing like the digital products, like the educational stuff, the contracts, email templates, things like that? I mean, you've probably figured that out over the years, but why'd you start doing that?
Obviously, everybody does it for the money. It's a different stream of revenue at the end of the day, whether you want to say it or not. But I've not always wanted, but a few years into my business, I've wanted to give back to the creative community and show what I've known. But then I came into the imposter syndrome of, am I good enough to share this information, or would anybody benefit from it? So I never did it, but 5 years deep, 7 years deep into my business, I could say that it would be beneficial, and I know it will be. So I just went full send with starting with some digital products, some questionnaires, some contact forms, email templates, all that, because the demand was there. People were asking for it, and that's why I decided to build it. Versus if the demand wasn't there and people didn't need it, and I'm just creating something that I'm selling that no one needs. So yeah, then I went from there, from smaller digital projects going from 30 to 50 bucks to now starting my own group coaching mastermind where it's $1,500 a seat for 8 weeks. And I do that 3-4 times a year, and have about, 20 guys in there. So that's cool. But every single mastermind, I'm able to show them exactly what I do in my business. And I feel like where there's a disconnect in the coaching industry is everybody who is coaching or is a guru, they don't actually run a business anymore, and they bank off of the actual coaching money to sustain their life. And I've never wanted to be that way, or go that route. My agency is number one and my coaching is number two. And without my agency, I would never do my coaching. If my coaching were to take off, for example, my agency is still always going to be number one, or else I'm not going to be practicing what I preach.
What happens in the mastermind? Is it when you say it's like a course? Like, do they go with you every day, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so it's virtual. So 8 weeks. Every Wednesday we meet for 60 to 90 minutes via Zoom call, and we go over a specific topic each week in order to take them from point A to point B. So most of these people are making, $5K a month, maybe $10K a month, but they want to get to 20, 30, 40K a month. So I pretty much show them how to, or what I personally do in my business for marketing, lead generation, building a brand, all of this, building a proposal, how to handle a discovery call, closing a client, all of that. Like for this past week on Wednesday, I talked about how to prepare for a discovery call. And then I actually took a live call for the last 20 minutes with someone on the phone with me while they were all on mute. And they kind of got to tune into what a call looks like.
That call go good?
Yeah. I was able to secure a client for $7,500.
Nice.
For that project. So, and sometimes it doesn't go well, and I'm fine with that. And then learning from that experience on what could we have done better. I'll ask them, what could we have done better? What did you take away from it? Or what would you have done? Or I'll ask them that before the call. Like going to this call, we pulled up the questionnaire, pulled up their website, did all the market research on them. And then I asked them, from everything we learned in the past couple of weeks, what would you do here? Or what kind of package would you pitch? Or what kind of videos do they need? And then from there, we gathered all these notes. And then I hopped on the call and kind of used that as a guideline, as well as threw in my own shit I normally do. And then, yeah, I decided it was a good call, luckily.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So do you have any books or audio books that you recommend?
I haven't listened to an audio book in the last month, and I have a terrible memory, but let me pull up what I just finished. But I'll let Justin go first if you got a couple.
Oh man, I'm on a couple right now, so I don't know if I can promote
Sometimes
them.
I'm halfway through and I pick it back up in a couple weeks. Depends on.
That's where I'm at.
Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek.
Someone else had that recently.
I'm halfway through that one, and I found that I'm finding that very valuable.
Nice. I like that guy's tone, like listening to his videos, like the tone he has.
Who is it?
He's not a flat top, but he's got kind of shorter hair. He wears glasses.
Simon
you saw
Sinek?
him,
What is it? Simon what?
Sinek.
Sinek? Okay.
He's the guy that started the was it Why? Find Your Why. Yeah.
I think that one's popular. I haven't read it though.
I haven't read that either.
We got Cashvertising by Drew Whitman. Trust Me, I'm Lying by Ryan Holiday. Someone recommended Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. Have you heard of that one?
No.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's more of like a autobiography of his past experiences in life. I didn't really like it. I'm like a quarter of the way in. The Power of One More by Ed Milet.
Is that about hiring?
Pretty much just doing one more task, one more thing in order to improve your, success.
Okay.
Very cool. What kind of movies do you like? I'm just curious.
Whatever my wife watches, to be honest. So just whatever's top 10 on Netflix, we usually watch shit like that. I'm not into any crazy Star Wars or Lord of the Rings kind of thing, but
I mean, that's got to be
more comedy shit.
Inspiration for your own videos in that.
I
right?
honestly don't. I just like watching movies just to watch it and to laugh and to.
That's crazy.
I kind of check out of work and the storytelling aspect and cinematic aspect of a movie. To be honest,
That's probably a good thing though.
yeah,
I
just
can't-
because the video marketing side is a little bit, I would say, a lot different than that filmmaking side. And like I mentioned, I don't have that filmmaking side, so I don't really care too much about that. So that's the only reason why.
I think it's cool because there's stuff that they've got much bigger budgets, but you look at the way that they use reflections and how they pan past beams and they do all these different things, and it's like, and you can put a monopod on a skateboard and maybe I can create that, and it's not some $50,000 rig, but it's like that's what a creative person does, is like try to like replicate something.
For sure. Yeah.
Being resourceful, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what I said. But yeah, that stuff is cool.
What do you guys listen to? Do you listen to audiobooks or do you read more?
Yeah, I would read more. I've
Yeah.
done like 2 audiobooks, and I find myself spacing out for a third or more of it, and then I come back and I'm like, did I miss something? And then I gotta do the arrow back. So yeah, I read more, and now I'm learning I need readers because most of the time I'm like,
Getting old, Mike.
I know. It's rough.
Getting old.
What was your last book? You always have some interesting book, I feel like.
Yeah, I was on like a old baseball memoir kick there. I think the last one was like Roger Maris memoir, and before that was Joe DiMaggio. I just like some of those like key people in history, especially in sports, because they were just like these godlike figures and they held themselves so well.
Yeah.
But when you're listening to these books, you learn that it wasn't by accident. Their image was everything. It's like you would get a warning if somebody were to like do something that would jeopardize their character, because it's like they want a legacy. They're like, this is the life that I live. Like this motorcycle gang that comes in, they respect me as a ball player, but this isn't the time and the place. Like you can tell them after I leave that I said, hello and, thank you or whatever. But it's like, you just, so many stories that, there's a lot that you can learn from it. Like never thought about that. Or it's things you might have thought of and you thought you were crazy. Like, dude, you're just thinking too much about it. But there's people in history that did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Justin?
We were talking about Joe Rogan just interviewed the gentleman that did the
Coyote
book.
America. Yeah.
How long ago was it before you read that?
It was like a year.
Year?
Yeah. That's a good one. Have you ever heard of
I haven't.
it's kind of random to even be interested in it, but this guy wrote a book called Coyote America, and it talks about how prevalent the coyotes are across the United States, even in LA, and how they've adapted. Like in LA, they've learned to not howl so that they won't be found and stuff. It's a crazy book, man.
Wow.
I think it would be very interesting to people that live here in the desert or anywhere that you see coyotes, because like I was telling Justin, man, we hear them all the time. Like I live in North Scottsdale and you could just hear them like some nights they're fucking tearing something up. But the guy that was on the podcast, he was talking a lot about like why they do the things that they do and like the whole mating thing and all that stuff. And it's just super interesting, because if you don't know, you don't know. You just make some shit up in your head.
Can you demonstrate the mating thing he talked about?
Yeah.
Let me give you a visual real quick of what this was and what it sounded like. Yeah.
When he had him on too, they talked about the pigeons, like where the word stool pigeon came from.
Oh, yeah.
And those pigeons that are now extinct. I forget what the pigeon was called now, but pretty crazy.
Yeah, tons of crazy shit.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
He's a good dude.
So what's your favorite pool that you have visited?
Ah, man.
Have you done any photo shoots by a pool? Completed pools? Not like the one
Greg
we
is
went
so
to.
pissed because he never gets to see them completed.
Even on photo shoots.
I've been in some like dope houses up in like Troon where we kind of shot. Paradise Valley, there's always a dope pool. But nothing that kind of stands out, to be honest.
No, like crazy resorts.
When we go to resorts, we go to a bunch of cool resorts, but we usually just kind of chill and lounge. We usually don't go by the pool. But now that our boy, he's almost 2 and he's able to play around in the pool and stuff, I think we will be more. But we're kind of boring when we go travel.
What's one of your favorite places to travel to or hotel to stay at?
We like to go up to Sedona a lot since it's so close, so we'll stay at La Berge up there.
Yeah.
We usually stay there for a couple of nights.
That's where you go, right?
We We used to stay at the Amara next door, but then after we stayed at La Berge, I'm like, can't go anywhere else.
I plumbed that pool at Amara.
yeah?
Yeah. Like
Oh,
physically
sweet.
plumbed it myself.
The last 2 times I've been there, I feel like they were doing construction. So you were probably there.
It was a long time ago. I don't know.
Just kidding.
That's a crazy one.
But yeah, that pool looks nice with the red rocks in the background.
I know everybody's probably sick of hearing about it. Have you ever seen Amangiri?
No.
Here we go. Just kidding.
Check out Amangiri.
It's actually
Dopest
the
resort.
the pool to the
dopest
right
pool.
of him. Out
Oh
there.
yeah, that's it right there.
Where is that?
That's in Utah,
Utah.
Canyon Point, Utah.
Okay.
Yeah, check that place out.
Is that your favorite one you've done?
I didn't do that one. I visited there, and that was my favorite pool.
What's the favorite one you've done?
Probably the one we're doing right now, which is that crazy one right there, the one with the shark tank.
Shark Tank?
Yeah, there's a shark tank connected to that pool.
Where is that located?
Paradise Valley.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
I feel like we need a list of all the features next to that picture.
I know, it's
Just, like,
crazy.
pin
It's
stick
got
to
like
it.
it's got a lazy river, glass, shark tank.
Damn.
Under there's a go-kart track that goes under the lazy river. It's crazy.
So for like a pool project similar to that, do you help with the concept, or is there like an architect that brings it to you and then you bring it to life?
Yes, they just. As a matter of fact, this one, that company was completely self. I mean, they could do everything, all their own hydraulics and everything. So they just hand us the plan and we perform.
Or you guys get drunk, draw out of a hat what you guys want to put in a pool,
Yeah.
and then Mike answers it.
Yeah,
Shark Tank.
he said shark tank and laser beams, man.
Send it.
We're gonna do it.
What's your favorite project, Mike?
That we've done. I mean, it's hard to beat that one. Prior to that, there was a job they had just finished when I came on over in Gilbert.
Sawyer.
Yeah, I mean, just so many aspects to that I had never seen before in my life. The way water would evacuate so you could use the spa, or it became a sitting area. It was crazy. That was like my introduction to like, wow, this is like next level stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas the company I was working at, that he was plumbing for us, we were doing like cookie cutter stuff compared to
Average
that.
homes.
Yeah.
Has anything ever gone like super fucked up during a project and you just kind of had to
Yeah.
work your way through it without letting the client know? Have you ever done that? Just kind of finessed it?
I can't think of an exact, but yes. I mean, my whole entire job is pretty much like,
All fucked up?
yeah, because like on the scale of things, sometimes you can't avoid mistakes. So
Yeah.
you just have to like work through them.
It's inevitable.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
Well, it's because you got like 2 customers. You have like the pool builder that's hired you as a subcontractor, and
Plus
then
the
you've got
customer.
the client. And you never know how picky the homeowner is going to be.
Mm.
There could be one piece of trash out there, and it's like, dude, you guys are so disgusting. It's like, oh my
My
God, can you
dog
send me a
ate it.
picture? It's like one little cup, huh? Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
So where can people find you?
You can find me on social, Instagram at Gordon Lee, GORDONLY, and my business account is at Lee Visuals, LY Visuals, and that's pretty much where I'm at most of the time. Shoot me a DM if you guys have any questions. I'd love to help.
Oh yeah, well, thanks for being on the show, dude. This has been awesome, and we're all fans of your work, and keep everything up, dude. Get that
You got my
podcast back
picture
on
up
track.
over there. I see that picture.
Yeah, you shot that.
Oh yeah, you did. Boom, right there, far
Sweet.
left.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thanks
man.
for having me.
Thanks,
Appreciate it,
Gordon.
boys.
Thank you.